This is SP 5-8 review, which is all about probability. I can go through the answers first. SP 5, number 2 is D. Number 6 is D. Number 7 is the first, second, third, and last choice. SP 6, number 6 is 13 over 36, which is about 36%. Number 7 is 142 times. Number 9 is the probability of multiple of 3 is 3/10. The probability of an odd number is 1/2, and the probability of a number greater than 10 is 0. Number 10 is 45 contestants. SP7, number 5. One reason to justify the difference between these probabilities is a small number of trials gives a higher variation, whereas a large number of trials is much more predictable. Number 6 is D. Number 8, there are 36 red, 31 brown, 26 orange, and 38 yellow. And then SP8, number 2, all the possible outcomes would be a boot cut with skinny jeans or pants, boot with relaxed, or skinny with relaxed. So there's 3 different possible combinations. Number 3 is 25%. Number 7, the calculations are given for both Jasmine, which is 1/18, and Kerrigan, which is 1/6. And when you combine those, you would get 2/9, which is 22.2%. Number 9 is 1/10 or 10%, and we used a tree diagram to find that. If you had all those correct, that's great. If you missed any, we'll go back through the problems and explain them. On SP5, number 2, the yearbook club's handing out t-shirts, 4 blue, 8 green, 7 red, and 6 yellow. If Jacob's handed a t-shirt, what's the probability that it is yellow? Well, there are 6 yellow, and if we add up 4 plus 8 plus 7 plus 6, we get 25, so 6 out of 25 is choice D. Number 6, in a game of chance, players spin the pointer of the spinner shown with equal size sections. What is the probability that the pointer will land in an odd numbered section? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 odd out of 8. So answer choice D. Number 7. Stacy uses a spinner with 6 equal sections numbered 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Select all true statements. The first one, the probability of landing on odd, is 33.33% because there are 1, 2 out of 6 odd, which is 1/3, which is 0.3 repeating, which does come out to 33.3 repeating percent. B, it is impossible that the pointer land on 7. Well, there are no 7s, so that is true. C, it's less likely the pointer will land on an odd number section than an even number section. Well, there's 2 odd sections, which is less than the 4 even sections, so that's true. F says it's most likely to land on 6. Well, 6 appears twice, and none of the other numbers do. We can rule out the 4th choice. It's certain the pointer will land on a number less than 6. That's not true because there are 2 6s. And then the next one, the spinner is fair. That is false because they're not equal chances of landing on each number. 6 could be landed on more frequently. On SP6, the table shows the outcomes of rolling 2 number cubes at the same time and finding the products of the 2 numbers. Use the table for items 6 and 7. What is the theoretical probability of rolling a product greater than 12? So we could just find out how many products are greater than 12. So that would be 15, 18, 16, 20, 24, 15, 20, 25, 30, 18, 24, 30, and 36. That if we add those up, we get a total of 13 out of the 36 sections. And then number 7, if Alan rolls 2 number cubes 300 times, About how many times would he expect a product greater than 10 round to the nearest whole number? Okay, well, let's go back and get all these that are greater than 10. So we've got all the ones included, and we'll add these. So that makes 17. Oops. Out of 36. And we're trying to find out of 300 what that would be. So we cross multiply, we get 36x equal 5,100. Divide both sides by 36, and x is 142. And that is rounded to the nearest whole number. Number 9, Sanji throws a 10-sided number cube with faces numbered 1 through 10. Select all the correct probabilities. So this looks to be a fair number cube. An even number, that would be half of them. Multiples of 3, that would be 3, 6, and 9, so 3 out of 10. An odd number, that's half. A number greater than 0, it's 1 through 10, so that would be 0. The probability of the number 10 is not 1, it's 1 out of the 10 choices. And then a factor of 15, that'd be 1, 3, 5. So that's 3 out of 10, which is not 1/4. Number 10, Luana recorded the number of winners at the Dunk a Teacher booth at the town fair in the table shown. If there are 750 contestants on Monday, how many should Luana expect to dunk a teacher? Well, we would notice the total contestants for those 3 days were 1,000. The total winners were 60. And if they dunk a teacher, that means they are a winner. So 60 out of 1,000 are what had occurred on the previous 3 days. So out of 750, X number would win on Monday. So we're just going to go through and cross multiply. We get 1,000X equal 60 times 750, which is 45,000. So if we divide both sides by 1,000, we get that X is 45, or 45 contestants. SP7 number 5, a fair number cube labeled 1 to 6 is rolled 10 times and lands on 3 4 times. Provide one reason to justify the difference between the experimental and theoretical probabilities. So you would expect that if it's rolled 10 times and there's 6 choices, that it'd be a little under 2 times that it would land on the number 3. But instead, it landed on it 4 times. And so that's a big discrepancy. But the reason is because it's a small number of trials. If you have a large number, it is more consistent. It's closer to what you would expect. Number 6, 280 students at Florida universities are randomly sampled and asked, on what day of the week were you born? The results are in the table. Assuming that each day has an equal theoretical probability, which day of the week has the most unusual observed frequency in this table? Well, first of all, we know there's 280 students in 7 days of the week. So if I just divide 280 by 7, I get that on average you should have 40 students for each day of the week. So the one that's the furthest off would be the one that's just the biggest difference. So for Sunday, that's 8. For Monday, that's 5. For Tuesday, that's 2. For Wednesday, that's 13. For Thursday, that's 6. For Friday, that's 18. For Saturday, that's 14. And all I did was subtract. And so the one that's the biggest difference was Friday. Number 8, based on the table, which is about Rihanna's bag that has 132 colored beads, and students take one bead from the bag without looking, record the color in the table, and replace the bead. About how many beads of each color do you expect to be in Rihanna's bag? Round to the nearest whole bead. So there's 55 beads total in the bag, or that have been recorded, sorry. There's 132 total beads. But based on the 55, how many are red? Well, there were 15 out of the 55 that were red, and so X out of 132. And if you go through and solve this proportion, you would find that x comes out to 36. And then for the brown beads, there were 13 out of 55 equal x out of 132, and we would find that x equal 31. For the orange beads, there were 11 out of 55, which equals x out of 132, and that would come out to x being 26. And then the yellow, there were 16 out of 55 equal x over 132. That would come out to x being 38. These are rounded, but it's just solving proportions. SP8, number 2, Marcus is shopping for pants. The available styles are boot cut, skinny, and relaxed fit. Make an organized list to show all possible outcomes if he buys 2 new pair of pants. And this is just listing all the possibilities. For boot cut, there are 2 choices. It could either go with the skinny pants, or it could go with the relaxed fit pants. And then the only other choice remaining is the one that's not boot cut, which is skinny with relaxed. Number 3, Joanna flips a coin and then she spins a spinner with 4 equal sections, yellow, green, red, and purple. What's the probability that the coin flips heads and the spinner lands on either red or purple? Round your answer to the nearest percent. Okay, so the coin flips heads. It's a 1 out of 2 for chance of heads, times it landing on red or purple. Well, that's 2 of 4 equal sections. That's 2 out of 4. We could reduce this 2 and 2, both reduce to 1s, and we get 1 over 4, which is 0.25 or 25%. Number 7, 6 people enter their names into a drawing. The winner receives a water bottle, book, or gift certificate. Which prize a winner receives is randomly selected. What's the probability that either Jasmine wins and is given a book, or Kerrigan wins and is given any prize? Alright, so Jasmine has won, so that's 1 out of 6 people. And then she has won a book. There were 3 choices, so that's 1 out of 3. That equals 1/18. Kerrigan wins, so that's 1 out of 6 people. And she could get any prize. There's 3 prizes out of 3 choices for 3 prizes, so it's 3 out of 3, which is really 1 whole. So we've got 1/18 for Jasmine, 1/6 for Kerrigan. We'll add those together. 1/18 plus 1/6 does come out to 2/9 when we reduce the fraction, which is 22.2%. And there's the math behind that. 4/18 when you add those together, which does reduce to 2/9, which is 22.2%. And then number 9, make a tree diagram that shows the sample space of spinning a fair spinner labeled 1 through 5 and flipping a fair coin. Using the tree diagram, what is the probability of spinning the number 3 and the coin landing heads up? So we have this tree diagram. It's labeled 1 through 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then each little branch is for flipping a fair coin heads or tails every time. And it says, using the tree diagram, what's the probability of spinning the number 3 and landing heads up? So here's the 3, and heads up is here. So that was 1 out of 10 possible results, which is 10%.